Good morning. Hold on, it's saying I'm out of storage. What does that mean? Oh, that's what it means. I'm out of storage. 1 second. Okay, maybe that worked. Let me get my tokens actually. Hold on 1 second. Okay, you guys, I have to do that giveaway announcement still. I had some health complications this week, so I'm a little behind on things, but I didn't forget. I think I'm going to double it to 2 winners since I'm late. All right, let's get started. You can hear me and see me, right? I'm guessing. Okay. What is Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner's true agenda in meeting with numerous high-profile billionaires recently in a private conference in Sun Valley, Idaho? Seven of Cups, the Lovers, and Judgment. So they can help get in under a veil of secrecy to take part in a decision that's going to affect more than just them. Message from my guides with a token. It's a bed. Needing to let yourself, it's kind of giving like needing to believe yourself that you have enough data on something that you've been trying to, what's that word? You've been trying to figure out what the extrapolated data means, and there's a need to trust yourself going forward. Page of Pentacles in reverse. The extra credit of getting more data won't necessarily serve to make the decision easier. Like you have the data you need to be able to put the picture together. Hey, Fiona. Message of guidance. Butterfly is the song playing by Lily Miola. I don't know this song. It says Postcards to Heaven. All of the time we took for granted, thinking tomorrow's just another day. Happiness is a choice. Page of Cups in reverse. It feels like there's something that is blocking your ability to choose happiness in certain moments because there's an attempt or a subconscious disassociation from a specific emotion that has felt harder in the past than it would right now. Like in the past, maybe it would make you really sad to work through this emotion, but now you have the strength to. A message regarding tomorrow having to see R. The Hanged Man and the Devil in reverse on either side of King of Pentacles. I feel like there's a need to slow down and see things as they are and not what you either hope or fear them being. I feel like it's two extremes, like either hoping it could be something or fearing it could be something, and it goes between the two. I feel like there's a need to slow down your mental processing of things and allow yourself to see things for how they're actually unfolding. Like almost maybe talk them out in your mind. Like, okay, I said this and it seemed to be perceived like this. Almost like give yourself a check-in of it. Can someone remind me before I get off if you remember? I'm going to try to do that giveaway right after this. A message from my guides. There's something that you've been carrying the bricks on alone, or it's like you have had to take one brick at a time all the way up the mountain and all the way back down. It's giving streamline processing. Death in reverse is like giving when a phone upgrades and it's faster. This process of carrying the bricks from one place to another towards what you're building is about to be streamlined. What challenge do you see in my immediate future? Roots by Grace Davies just started playing. Trusting your roots. It feels like you're going to be caught in a windstorm and you're meant to not panic because you know how deep the roots go. I think it's a TikTok sound. It's like, don't panic, don't panic. I forget what it actually sounds like, but essentially it says that. It's giving that there's something that's going to come up and go away just as quickly, and it's not supposed to bring you back in terms of distress. It's supposed to click you into observer mode. Message from my spirit guides and a song. Beautiful Things by Benson Boone. For a while there, it was rough, but lately I've been doing better than the last 4 cold Decembers. There's something that's coming into view by December. It's like you don't necessarily know how you're getting from point A to point B. And come December, it's like you're going to have the map quest, spiritual map quest of what steps to take. Message and song for the week. Daydream by Lily Miola. When we were kids in the backyard playing astronauts and rock stars, no one told us to stop it, called us unrealistic. You're putting down, or you're preparing to put down, some kind of limitation on your expansion that comes through your imagination. Almost like I'm seeing it as I think it's Star Wars, when they open the door at the end of the hallway and it's like space or whatever. I think it's Star Wars. It's like your door of imagination is beginning to open in that way, so you can figure out a creative solution for something. Where's my mouse? It says, darling, don't quit your daydream. It's your life that you're making. It ain't big enough if it doesn't scare the hell out of you. Is there a blooming relationship for me with Charlie? I feel like it's not going to end up looking as it may appear right now. It feels like this is something that turns into exactly what you need it to be, but it feels like it's more of a friendship, at least at this point. I feel like that trajectory can change, but it may require like a break in the middle. Like this section of it, this go around doesn't seem like it blooms into that per se. Today is my 5-year in remission anniversary. Oh, we love that. A message from anyone about it. You don't look like what you've been through. You don't wear your battles. You've learned to not wear your battles as a shield that keeps you from living. And it feels like this is a testament to the way that you've been able to reprogram how your brain processes trauma. You had a decision at one point to sit with the trauma and let it eat you alive, or to like dig into your brain and reconnect the wires in a different way. And I feel like this is acknowledgement that you've done that successfully. I don't want to use this deck. Message and song from A. Breathe by Grace Davies. Living with a stone for a heart. There's an encouragement to have a change of scenery so that you can remove the cog from the wheel of your heart. Almost like something keeping your heart chakra from spinning fully. And it's because of some sense of mundaneness. Almost like, well, what's the point in letting myself feel if there's going to be no change? It feels like you're being encouraged to, even if it's just a walk in a different area, or it could even be like a mental change of scenery. So like reading a new book series or something. A change of scenery will have a ripple effect. Message from my spirit guides. Whatever decision you just made, or the way that you showed yourself that you're trusting yourself, was the right decision. It feels like you don't see anything actualized from this yet, but you're going to. But this is confirmation that you made the right decision because it came from a place of self-trust or self-respect. I feel like it's self-respect is the word. Is my understanding of the start of this life correct? I'm seeing it like a puzzle where it's not that the pieces you have down are wrong, but it's that there's some pieces still to be filled in. A delay on full intuition until you get to fulfillment. So it doesn't feel like you're wrong. It just feels like there's certain pieces that when you put them, like let's say you have a puzzle and you're putting a corner of it together and it looks like it's going to be a bush. And then you put in a couple more pieces and you're like, oh, that's a whole tree, not just a bush. It's like giving that. So not wrong, but there's more fullness to explore. Message and song from my deceased grandmother regarding YouTube in some way to create more income or an additional stream of income. Oceans, Liv Harland. You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown where feet may fail. And there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep, my faith will stand. It's giving, regarding YouTube and to create more income. It feels like there's some bit of being seen or perfectionism that's preventing you from showing up without too much overthought or like too much overthinking. To reduce the overthought that comes, to reduce the overthinking that your brain sometimes reads as mounting stress, address the areas of perfectionism and how your subconscious interprets being perceived. Message from my dad, please. Oh, there he is. You have some kind of seed in your hand that you're meant to take all the way. There's some benefit in picking something and seeing it through to the end, even if that isn't like, let's say you want some kind of big change in your life. It's not that you have to change everything for that change. It's about taking one step towards it. So essentially like, okay, I want to get more organized so that I can get into this particular position in the job. Work on the organization first. See something through to the end and the door in front of you will open. Bubble heart, thank you. There's a need to give yourself some kind of space to allow your creative intelligence to mix with the tools that you have. It's almost like you're trying to build something and you have tools that came with like a different item, but they can also work for what you're trying to build. You just need to use them differently, but you have what you need for it. What did R think I was doing buying a sofa last Thursday as I couldn't talk to him on the phone and he got angry with me and I walked away from him? It was the final straw for me. Thought you were enacting some kind of plan that they weren't privy to. So like they thought you were enacting some kind of strategy, like it's kind of giving investigating. It's like they thought you were looking into something or trying to see if something was true or not, and they didn't feel privy to why you were doing it. What will be the outcome of the neck MRI I had this morning? Will that get reduced without surgery? Is there like a something that's not a big surgery but it's like a mid option, like a an injection of some kind? I feel like they're going to try something else before surgery. I'm getting a reference of like an injection, but I don't know if that's literal or that's just like saying a less invasive route to see if that. It's almost like they can do something that will reduce it, but it might not keep it reduced in the way that surgery would, but they may take that middle step, if that makes sense. Do you see a relationship for me this year or the potential for one? Oh, yes. This year kind of feels off to me though. I want to read that more as within a year than this year, but I do see something coming in, but I feel like it's more within a year. So by this time next year, as opposed to like the end of December. How does my future with Brian look as he is such a kind person? I feel like it's getting to, it's reaching some kind of point where there's going to be acknowledgement of how the past is still affecting each of you. And then it leads to some kind of reestablishing of the foundation, almost like, okay, we've made it to this point, let's get even more real with one another type of thing. I do see that going well, but it does feel like it builds to a point where it's like, okay, what are we doing here? And then you end up putting down walls that weren't necessarily like causing problems, but weren't allowing for as much either closeness or advancement, but it feels like that ends up going well. Like you get closer from it. Will my finances improve? Not immediately. I mean, the King of Pentacles is on the board, but it feels like something needs to be done differently that's not enacted right now. So can they? Yes, but it's going to require some kind of action that's not currently underway. Why did R get angry? Because I spent my birthday last week after he gave me the silent treatment and made me cancel my plans. There was a different reaction that this person wanted from you, almost like to, it's kind of giving beg, or like they wanted to be placed more in the main character role for your birthday and didn't feel like they were. Goat trophy. I don't know what any of this means, but thank you. I think this is new. There's something that you're being gently led to let go of or change. And it's like you have a certain amount of time to do this on your own before it starts to be more like tug of war. It feels like you're working on releasing it though. So continuing to do that is the right move, even if it's uncomfortable. Any words of encouragement? I really need something with me to give so I can be a grounded, supportive, and helpful place for my daughter as we plan for her wedding. The choices that you've made of how you've handled certain hurdles has had a bigger impact in a positive way on your daughter than you may realize. And there's something in the wedding, like I'm saying this to you now, so when the wedding comes, you can see it. It's almost like that's going to be confirmed for you. It's like you're going to get glimpses of what maybe you previously viewed as like, oh, I could have done better in this situation, or I could have done this, coulda, shoulda, wouldas. It's almost like you are going to get a glimpse of the positive way in which something that was previously perceived as a stressor actually helped give her tools to handle things in a better way now than she would have without it. Message from mom and or dad. Which one? Dad. Something may take longer than expected, or you may be, I'm being shown it as like waiting for a feather to drop. And like if the feather's dropping and you're like, okay, it's going to drop in 10 seconds, and then a wind comes and it blows it back up and then it has to re-drop again. That's how he's showing it to me. Trust that the feather is going to drop in your hand, but it may blow back up again before it comes down. I was able to showcase some of my talents at work last week, and my supervisors, associate director, and director of SPED saw too. What's in their mind / future plans about me? Feels like they're not ready to take it anywhere yet. It does feel like they're focusing in on untapped potential in terms of the way that you're able to articulate things, but it feels like there's not necessarily a space to use that yet, but they're aware that it's there. Message and song from my spirit team. It's a cover, right? The Reason by Tim Halperin, Halperin, but that's a cover, right? From Hoobastank. I'm not a perfect person. There's many things I wish I didn't do, but I continue learning. It feels like you're about to reconnect with a part of yourself that felt lost, but was always waiting for you to go back for that part. Whatever lesson you learned in this last chapter was exactly what was needed for that past version of you to feel ready to come out of hiding. It feels like this is going to come through as like a stream of ideas, a stream of motivation, a stream of like a push towards something new, whether that's learning, reading, discovering. When that new thread comes up, you're meant to like follow it, because it's helping that version of you that felt disconnected find its way back to integration with this current version of you. Would it be helpful for me to get further testing on my allergies / ear, nose, and throat symptoms? Yes, because it's going to help you with a solution you don't have right now. It's almost like they can help. What is that called? Like a jump start? They can help you get ahead of something. Almost like pulling you out of the quicksand. It's not that you'll need the help forever, but it pulls you out of the quicksand so you can start walking on the ground again. Okay, so they did talk about injections. No injury, just osteoporosis enhanced by recent chemo. So is that the injections? Yeah, but see, I don't think it's going to work as well as surgery. It kind of feels like you're going to be presented with an option of like, do you want to do a what would be more sure long term, or do you want to take a chance of something that could potentially also work long term but is less likely to? Will I receive justice for the assault on me that was done by my friend? I feel like it's going to take some time, and I don't feel like it's going to be something where you end up feeling like enough justice was had. Now that can change, but it feels like with whatever batch of evidence you have right now, it might not push it to the level of justice that you want. So that being said, is there more that you could gather that would help you get there? Because it feels like there is something that exists, whether it's a perspective, whether it's a person to like go to bat for you, whether it's evidence, there is something, but it's not in your hands yet. Do you see me dating anyone? Is this the one where I said it was like a little not within a year, but I feel like you're going to actually have some kind of opportunity to choose yourself and walk away from something that's beginning to bloom before you end up with the person that you're going to end up dating or being with. It's like you have, it kind of feels like it's going to present as a test of, will you settle out of loneliness or will you wait until what is actually right for you? So yes, but I feel like it comes after you walking away from something that's not in alignment, even if it presents to be in alignment at first. Don't I have that on? Hold on, let me see. One second. I think I turned on members only. Yeah, it should be on. Will the harassment and abuse stop? Why is this giving like a cord cutting? Like, it's not something you're causing. It's something that's being ushered in by a particular someone who's holding the door open. Will it stop in time? Yes, but it feels like it could stop quicker by either denying access or like essentially in whatever way it resonates for you, cutting a cord with whoever's holding that door open that wants to see imbalance come into your life. Did Jelly Roll and Bunny EXO divorce quickly in order to shield assets from potential lawsuits? And is there any truth to the possible trafficking rumors? Delaying things, delaying the process being revealed. Oh, before the process begins. Before the process begins. Yes, to some degree. Is there truth to possible trafficking rumors? I'm getting like a Ghislaine reference, like they're the middleman, the middleman in something allegedly. Almost like I'm seeing it as like a corrupted underground railroad where like it's something that's made to appear as a good opportunity and then sours quickly, but they're the handoff person. Allegedly. What's going on around me that I'm not seeing? An opportunity from grounding that is being held back. It kind of feels like because of those around you. The way in which those around you are affecting your ability to remain grounded. It may be running deeper than you realize. I'm tired of seeing the ugliness or people's ways and feel a bit disheartened, heavy-hearted. Can't read today. It's like you've been waiting a long time for yourself to be able to express in a way that doesn't trigger those around you. It feels like the shadow that's coming to the forefront here is like sometimes the space we hold for others gets filled with their fears or projections, and then it's like, well, it's the space that you held, so that space is connected to you. I would say the way to remain grounded in this is to acknowledge which chains you're being shown. Like, that person's projecting in this way. I'm noticing the chains that they're being shown. It's almost like it'll help to reframe what may feel like an attack on the space that you're holding, and it'll reframe it into acknowledgement that it's the limitations of their own chains that are keeping them from sitting in the space appropriately. Message for the week. That wasn't the card. Taking a pause. It's giving stop and smell the roses. Creativity blooms when we give it space to. And it feels like there's something that wants to bloom, but it either doesn't have the water or the space or the time to. It feels like it's very important to find every and any opportunity to slow down, because it's going to give you a much needed reframe this week. Flower, thank you. What are these, by the way? These are new to me. Something's about to make sense. It's almost like you're about to see that you were right about something that you perceived but didn't get confirmation about previously, or you're about to see, oh, that didn't work because this needed to be there instead. We're going on holiday next month. Will it be okay? Prepare for maybe some kind of travel delay. But it feels like other than that, everything will be fine. There just may be some kind of travel delays, but there's like alerts going off everywhere for travel delays. So it doesn't feel like it's something that, it feels like it's the normal travel delays that could be expected, but they may be longer than they typically would have been in the past. Has R given out my address yet? No, because it hasn't necessarily benefited them to do that yet, because they know that once they do, there's no going back. Yeah, they know that once they do, there's no going back. I don't feel like they've taken that action yet. It's kind of giving that quote that says, my circle's so small that if I hear a rumor about me or I hear something about me, I know exactly who told them. It's given that. Message from my dad or Sean and a song, please. The slowing down or the bit of delay is actually for your benefit. It's helping you remember something that you have within that you weren't fully utilizing. So something that's taking longer than expected is giving you the exact perspective you needed to see of how you're capable of handling something. Will the Texas Gulf Coast experience a significant tropical storm or hurricane this year? Bertha is developing now, but it looks like it may impact areas along the coast between Louisiana and Florida. Texas is on its own grid, right? Tropical storm or hurricane. Not that there's not going to, come on, internet. Not that there's not going to be, oh, that's interesting because of what I was about to say. A prolonged what's that word? Disturbance of the grid. But it doesn't feel like a normal storm. I'm wondering if it's like from heat or from air or something where they have to shut something down for longer than normal, allegedly. Two of Wands, so they can, it kind of feels like something malfunctions because of something related to weather, and the process of getting it back up takes longer because it's not just turning it back on, it's like fixing the problem that was caused or whatever. Will I become the manager of the shop I'm in, or will it be another shop? I feel like another shop. Something you're not necessarily connected to yet, but that would be a better fit for you for long term. I went through something like that with my ex who misrepresented himself. It could it be me letting go of that hurt fully? Not even necessarily the hurt, but the way that the hurt made you view what was possible. This is like codependency. So subconsciously, your brain is still stuck on Page of Pentacles in reverse. It closed a certain door of what your brain viewed as achievable, doable, maintainable, keepable. So it feels like it's not necessarily the hurt, it's what door did the hurt shut and how do I take action to reopen that? Will Sarah realize that she's alienating herself from her family by her behavior? Well, that's the her and the behavior. When things get to an extreme point of imbalance, which it doesn't feel like it's there for her yet, this is kind of giving, it's easier for me to hide than for people to see what it is that I don't feel comfortable showing right now. It feels like this is an internal thing right now, but to a degree, when it externalizes, that's when she'll start to realize it more. Right now, she's only focused on the internal, how am I alienating myself from myself? Once it produces some kind of additional external impact, she'll start to realize, oh, I can't really just call these people easily because I pushed them away, that type of thing. Is people starting to see the truth of my old neighbors and their families and the flying monkeys? Not necessarily. It does feel like there's people who are starting to avoid, like, whether it's drama or whatever this 10 of Wands is. It's like they're starting to back away, but they're not necessarily beginning to correlate that with what happened yet. Message from my father. A message about trusting your voice. Those who are set on misunderstanding you are going to misunderstand you. Those who are desiring to know you and understand you will make an effort to do so. Don't put so much emphasis on perfectionism in terms of when you're using your throat chakra and speaking. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to be making sure that you're preaching to the right crowds, speaking to the right people who want to understand you. Message from my guides. There may be something in terms of your spiritual connection that's being over intellectualized and needs to be actioned. Like reestablishing some kind of bridge from your reality to your higher self. It's like you may be overthinking some kind of bridge between the two where it needs to be allowed to flow. So when you are engaging in something in terms of your spiritual practice and you notice your mind start to like go into overdrive, start to like write down those thoughts, get them out, and then go back into the flow space. It's almost like your higher self wanting to hand you a note, and is doing that through the overthinking, but then releasing the overthinking and observing it is how you move through it. Will my brother talk to our family again? He's not trusting that he would be believed, or like, what's that called? When people are just like looking for the worst in what you're saying. He believes that that's how he would be received right now. It feels like this is because he's not all the way believing himself, because it doesn't feel like that's the case with the Empress. It feels like this is something that there's potential for him to talk again, but only after he learns how to believe himself. Almost like internally he's trying to convince himself that he's not allowed to have emotions about things or feelings about things, but then he's projecting that onto the family. But it's not necessarily the family making him feel that way, it's internalized. So that's the hurdle that needs to be overcome first. The last month or so has been wild at work, and it's starting to calm down for me now. Is the bloom related to conscious education side stuff? No. This feels more like day-to-day routine, the way that you're interacting with the way you're interacting with the time you have available as spare time when you're not working. It feels like that's where the bloom happens. That doesn't necessarily have to be the conscious education. It actually feels more so like it's not. It feels more like the foundation, reestablishing your connection with the foundation that you have with yourself, which is what the other stuff is built upon. Is the 3 days of darkness something that we need to be prepping mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially for? Will it happen this year? We're going to see the inversion of it. Like the man-made inversion of it. I feel like that's something with the grid. Is it something we should be prepping for? I would say to a degree. I mean, have something so that if it happens, the inversion of it happened. The inversion of it feels to be something related to the grid, where it's made to look like an outside thing, but it's an inside job. And it feels very controlled in terms of timeliness because it's meant to be a fear tactic, with the illusion here. So I would say, have stuff that you could eat, stuff that you can whatever else in those days, candles, just have it. But I would say not to panic, but to have it. Cancer runs in my dad's side of the family. Should I try to get tested or be worried? I would keep up with testing. I don't think you need to be worried at this moment, no. But I would say that keeping up with testing not only helps your mental health about it, because you're not like walking blind through things, but also like a debt to self. You owe it to yourself to give yourself the mental reprieve if you know that runs in your family, keeping up with the seasonal testing or whatever it would be. I feel like it's more beneficial than just the test itself, because it also helps with your mental health about it. Eagle, thank you. Identify one way in which, when you feel an urge to do something, what's the thought that continues to come up that talks you out of it? Is it, well, it's not worth the point, there's too many steps? Is it, well, I'm too far behind, there's too much work to catch up? Is it, well, I'll save it for tomorrow? What is the thought? It feels like if you can identify that thought, it'll turn off the autopilot response behind it. My parents right now are in Ireland, actually. They're coming home right before Gavin's birthday. And the weather looks beautiful there, so I'm sure it's awesome. I don't know how close Scotland is and Ireland, so forgive me if they're not close, but my brain's correlating them together. Message for the week. Message for the week. There's something that's going to pop up that may seem like an inconvenience. This doesn't feel like it's this week. It feels like it's within a week. In the past, this may have produced a fear of change response, but the inconvenience is happening so that you can see the autopilot response start to come onto the surface and you choose differently. You choose to not disassociate when you see change coming on or embrace change in new ways. Look at the next change that seems to come out of nowhere as an opportunity and not a punishment. The Middle by Jay Filson is playing. It just caught my attention. There's no lyrics though. The Middle. Meet me in the middle. It's like you're standing in the middle right now and you have a choice to avoid change like in the past or embrace change, and that's the difference of which side you step on. What gifts have I inherited? Pattern recognition, but you've probably developed this either through trauma or learning the hard way in certain things. It's like your pattern recognition allows you to utilize the other gifts because you're able to fact check them through making sure they fit the pattern. It feels like that's what's been inherited, but it has been inherited in large part through stress, trauma, like hypervigilance in a way. What shadow is ready to be faced? Kind of feels like this is a theme today, but around a shadow around change, a shadow around choosing what's comfortable instead of what's expansive, a shadow around, what's that? It's when you don't change something that you want to change, it's equivalent to choosing, when you don't make a choice, it's equivalent to choosing what you don't prefer. So I feel like that around the topic of how you feel about change is the shadow. Almost like complacency at one time felt to keep you safe because you knew what to expect, but now you're in the mode of wanting to expand. 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Message from my gran for my mom, C. Sometimes when we allow ourselves to go into observer mode instead of feeling like we need to make quick changes, it's okay to not have everything figured out when you know that there's something to figure out. It's okay to go through the process of collecting the data. It's kind of needing to sleep on something that feels more rushed. Advice from my grandmother. what didn't work out for you really worked out for you. You just don't see it yet because it hasn't come to fruition. Sometimes we don't see what we're protected from up ahead because we were protected from it. It feels like something that right now seems to have either been taken from you, blocked from you, not going your way. You're going to see within the next 6 months, you're going to look back and be like, oh, I think my grandma plucked that out of my way so that I would be available for this other opportunity. So it kind of feels like the message is to hold the faith, or hold the line. What movie is that from? Look up what movie that's from. It feels like that's another clue. Hold the line. I feel like it's someone screaming it. Hold the line. Maybe like a war movie. Am I right to not trust certain friends and to be distancing myself? It feels like right now your emotions are acting as straight signposts, right? Because this is like you're hearing what's not being said and acting accordingly. I would say if you're feeling, this is a matter of trusting yourself. I wouldn't say all the way that it's like you need to cut these people off forever or close any doors, but I would say right now it's paramount that you listen to your emotions, even if you don't understand necessarily the why behind it. That doesn't mean act off of your emotions, but it means if you're getting a gut feeling about something, allow yourself to take a couple paces back and see if that feeling dissipates. If it does, okay, let's continue that. If you take a couple steps back and you still feel the same way, okay, well, maybe try to engage and see if that feeling comes back up. It feels like you're learning how to interact with your emotions as guides again. And a part of how you're doing that is through certain friendships. Will the old neighbors meet their match with the new people who take over my old apartment? No. It kind of feels like their plans aren't going to work the same. They may have to work harder to get a reaction out of the new individuals or something like that, but it feels like they have fun with it. It doesn't feel like meeting their match. No, unfortunately not. Will election manipulation be attempted in the midterm elections, and will the corruption be publicly exposed? I think we're all mentally exhausted from the corruption and political games. Will it be attempted? And will the corruption be publicly exposed? It's like they're going to preemptively expose certain things on purpose so that they can put certain precautions or whatever into place. It's like they're using the widespread knowledge of the corruption and political games as a pawn to, maybe pawn's not a good example, as like a queen on the board to get the other pawns to chase after it. They're using the knowledge of it to put certain things in place that's going to allow them to put a lasso around certain things that are to tunnel vision in their control over certain things. Will Kieran and Alicia move in together, or will she just move into mine? Will they move in together? Or will she just move into mine? I feel like she ends up moving into yours. It may look like that's the one that's going through, but it feels like there's a hurdle that ends up not being able to be overcome, whether that's timing, finance, whatever else. Oh, Alexis, you said. Has Arbin seen other women behind my back in the past 5 months? Feels like there's something that was supposed to be in the past that hasn't all the way been left in the past. It's like there's still access to this person from like an ex or something like that. It doesn't feel like they're seeking new connections, though. It's just not all the way cutting a past one off. Texas has a very outdated, vulnerable power grid. Yeah, it's like whatever happens, it's like they don't want to just flick back on the switch. They want to completely reconstruct whatever it is that like pushes the power out. Whatever happens doesn't allow it to go out as far as it needs to. It almost gives the energy of like something happens that clogs wires at a certain point and they need new wires or something like that, for example. I literally felt myself start to come back to life this weekend with creativity and fun again. I'm planning on making a big painting for my home. I wonder if it's that, what I said about the other thing. Message from my mom and guides about the life I'm making. You're choosing to turn what could have broken you into something that it's almost like I'm seeing it as you standing in the middle of the road and these like giant tires rolling at you one by one, tire, and you're dodging them, but you're also catching them. And now that you have enough tires, you can make a vehicle, right? It's giving that. But that was a choice because you could have chose to let them hit you. You could have chose to let them roll by. It's what you chose to keep from the pain that's allowing you to build towards something now. I want to see what this song is. Simple Things by Teddy Swims. Small town living gets old when you've got big dreams. Okay, your mom is loud today with that. I feel discouraged this week. Any messages from my spirit guides? It feels like the discouragement is coming from feeling like you're showing yourself like simply, like clearly, and it's like you keep not being seen as the clearness that you're showing. So the queen is the only one that has the lid on the cup, and this is reversed, right? So it's like reframe how that has made you feel about vulnerability. It's like the way in which you feel like you're not being seen properly or fully is almost making your subconscious read vulnerability as a bad thing, where in the past it's always been part of your strength. So I feel like reframing that will help you shift perspective enough to like regain momentum. Message from my guides. You're in some kind of calm before the storm, or like rest before movement. It feels like the foundation of something is maturing right now so that you can finally, like a bungee cord, be cut free from whatever was keeping you in rest mode. Feels like this is trusting the timing of the next step showing itself to you. Like you may be feeling like, where's the next step? What's the next clue? But it's going to be dropped in at timing that aligns with the movement, like okay, go now type of thing. Any message from my guardian angel? It feels like there's some bit of you are now in the process of like running the data. Like you've put all of the data into this like line of code, and now you're about to press enter and see what it gives you. It feels like the message is to trust that you put all of the right lines of code in, and when you press enter, it like it shows you all the lines you put in, and then it makes a change, right? Like how you do in like app coding or whatever. That's how I'm seeing it, at least. So trust that when these things come back up on the screen, it's not because you need to readdress all of them. It's because it's giving you the answer for the data that you put in. Hopefully that makes sense. New member, thank you. The Scientists is the song playing. And it's a cover by someone named Beth, because I think it's originally by Coldplay, so maybe Beth has some significance. You're about to see why an experience needed to happen prior to a manifestation coming in, because it gave you the exact skill set you needed to maintain what you're bridging in. R said it was him that followed me to the pub the one night I went out and not a female or Caitlin. Is he lying, or is it him or the female? No, him. Because this, I got deception in order to not let the truth come out so that some kind of imbalance could happen. I said him or her and got King of Pentacles. Can you see how my dad and little boy are? I've been missing them so much I cry every day. It's giving protection and patience, like with you always type thing, wherever you go. I would say the tears seem to be almost like a misinterpreted good thing, because you're starting to allow yourself to feel what you previously had to suppress. So don't look at the tears as sadness. Look at the tears as, okay, my psyche is finally allowing me to process these things, and they're very much with you for it. Just awoke from the strangest dream after falling asleep here on my couch. Bombs falling out of the sky, and I'm trying to grab it while I'm crying and screaming. They want to destroy the human race. I feel like the message here is there's protection in how the plan is going to unfold. Like, do they want to do that? Yeah, but is their plan going to actually do that? No. It feels like we're at the height of a centuries-long fear tactic. But we're here with the perspective that we have more power than they wanted us to believe we have. There's power in collective unity. Hold on. Wait, that's not the name of the song. Is it? Hold Steady by X Ambassadors. X marks the spot. Unity is the X marks the spot that they can't erase or ignore. Is C losing her control over Jay's behavior as time goes by? Yes. Why? It feels like a control tactic that worked before is no longer working. Someone has adapted to the previous response. Like, I know what to expect, so I know how to handle it type of thing. Why did the boxing coach no-show and block me? Something they were told about an imbalance from someone else that they trusted more than you. Almost like thinking that doing that was going to get a certain reaction that validated something that they heard that they couldn't prove or didn't have proof of. Some people say we changed timelines with Spain winning the World Cup instead of Argentina, and they also bring it back to Knicks winning. Any truth or insight to this? It feels like there's different timelines bleeding in. It's making me think of the book I'm reading. It's called Recursion, and in the book it's essentially this girl made this memory chair. I don't want to give too much away in case anyone wants to read it, but this girl made this memory chair, and it's like they can go back in time a certain amount. It's like messing with the timelines. I do feel like there's technology at play that we are not privy to the fact that it even exists. Hey, Christine. Does he feel the same way I do? Should I share with him my feelings? Oh. Does he feel the same way you do? I feel like you're aware that there's something there, but it might not be to the degree that you feel yet, but it does feel like there's the potential for it to get there. I wouldn't necessarily do it in like a direct way yet, but I would allow yourself to start to walk towards the line of like increased vulnerability. It feels like if it happens too quick, this person may run. If it happens in natural unfolding timing, it has a chance to go forward. But I feel like this person's very like if they get spooked, they'll run. I don't know how else to word it right now. Message from Grandma F in heaven. The darkness that you sat in taught you how to utilize your emotions in terms of making decisions. You have the balance now of like not reacting from emotions, but listening to them and taking them into. You are incorporating the right amount of how much your emotions are meant to influence your decision making. And it feels like it took you a long time to get there. And it's something that she's proud of you for. Message for the week and a song or token. It's a soda pop bottle. And for some reason, It's Okay by Night Bride. Did I say Night Bride? Yeah, Night Bride. It's Okay by Dave. Soda bottle. It's making me think of this one time I was in the car and I was opening this. I think I was trying to find a charger or something. And anyway, I wasn't paying attention and I opened this bottle and exploded all over my car. It's making me think of that, like an unexpected. You're about to get a series of unexpected downloads that help make something make sense. You're about to get the bird's eye view of a different perspective on something that's being built by your choices. Like almost like this, and this choice are all leading towards this ultimate shift, but they weren't being viewed as connected until this comes in. Any messages from my mom? You became who you shed what you needed to shed, and now that experience can be past you. You can re-show your light again. You're almost in the season of no longer having to dim yourself down because you learned what you needed to from doing that temporarily. It's almost like you had to examine each of these wands that was a projection from the past that needed to be put down. And now that you no longer are incorporating the way that other people felt about themselves that they projected at you, now you can rebirth into Feels like using your voice again in a bolder way, or your third eye and throat feel very significant in that message. Dream about a black folder. I didn't see what was in it. What does this mean? What was in the black folder? Something that you're trying to actualize, whether that's a change, whether that's a manifestation, whether that's a connection. It feels like the black folder was representing fears that do not come into play here. Fear of being perceived, fear of success, fear of failure, fear of change. Whatever it is, the black folder was meant to represent what fear is making you feel like you can't actualize or keep that which you're trying to manifest in. How's my cat? Could there be a need to, it's kind of giving like not enough hydration, like lack of clarity on how much hydration is actually happening. I feel like focus on, can you mix water in with food or something? It feels like it's not a problem, but could be made better in terms of hydration. I know that that's not necessarily like you're doing, because sometimes cats just don't like their water fountain and won't drink, but it feels like there's a need to pay attention to hydration. Message from my guides. Paying attention to how a lack mindset is making a lack mindset. When you feel bouts of imposter syndrome come up, it's a time to pause and look at what thought of lack has triggered this feeling of imposter. Does R hate me, or what's his feelings? I've gone no contact and said I don't want anything with him. I mean, you've triggered some kind of rejection wound, which feels to mean that it's not necessarily about you, it's about what you've triggered in this individual, which feels to be avoidance of their own feelings when a rejection wound is triggered. What will happen with my health going forward? Something you're going to need to make a lifestyle change about in order to bring, there's something that you're not all the way in the clear of yet, or that's going to be an upcoming hurdle. It's going to require some kind of lifestyle change, but once that lifestyle change happens, you end up feeling better, even though there's a period of like a homesickness for the old way of doing things, but then you start to realize how the new way of doing things is actually helping you to feel better. Why has my dad had such a hard life? It's kind of proving to himself that he's capable of not letting his mind win. I'm almost wondering if this is like in the past, he had similar hard times that broke him. And this time, as hard as they are, they're not doing that. It's like victory over the mind that wasn't able to be completed before. What do I need? Hold on. What do I need to focus on to move forward in my spiritual journey? I feel like to move forward, it's about finding something that excites you in the learning process. It's not necessarily about what it is that you're learning or discovering. It's just about having fun with the process of revealing expansion to yourself. So it almost is given the vibes of like not needing to focus on more healing or more whatever, but focusing on, well, what can I do now that I've done that healing work? What can I learn from a different perspective now that I've done that? Any messages from my dad today? What is that quote from the book? It just flashed in my mind. Dear heart, dear heart. Hold on, that's going to drive me nuts. 1 second. Dear heart, quote from book. Chronicles of Narnia? But no one except Lucy knew that as it circled the mast, it had whispered to her, "Courage, dear heart." And the voice, she felt sure, was Aslan's, and with the voice of a delicious small breathed, the voice of a delicious smell breathed in her face. Courage, dear heart. You withstood some kind of storm on your own, or the storm that you withstood made you into the person who would have protected you in past situations. Your courage, dear heart, is being seen very clearly. Will anyone involved in the Epstein files ever be held accountable? Exposure, yes. Accountability, come on, internet. Exposure, yes. Accountability, not in the way that we would hope. It does feel like, although some people may go down for other things, it feels like there's a hesitancy to lock anyone in for this because it opens the door for others to be drawn into it too that need to be protected. It's so good. I recommend everyone read Recursion. I think I'm on like day 3 and I'm almost done it. I'm on book 5. It's so good. Terry had an episode yesterday at church. Was it a mini stroke, which is what I'm thinking? The wheel overturning with a debt. The wheel turning with a debt. Something moving, balanced out with a debt. Something that should be moving, balanced out with a debt. I feel like it could very well be that, because a mini stroke is like, I'm almost reading it as like frozen in place, which feels to be a stroke because you're actively having a stroke but frozen in place. I feel like that would be likely what it is. It feels like an instance of being frozen in place. I've made my choice. Whenever I try to step in that direction, resistance hits over and over. Is my strength being tested, or am I being told it's the wrong decision? Feels like you're being tested to see how it's giving a mix of how bad do you want it and how much do you trust yourself. And almost like this feeling of trying to reduce buyer's remorse later, by making sure that you're confident and sure going into something, because it feels like this is something where there's a version of you before this and there's a version of you after this. You know how a magnet will, like, before it connects, push away? It's giving that. You're magnetizing to something that's meant to be magnetized to you, but you're in that resistance point before it locks in. Will I be able to move to Lombard within the next year? Within the next year, no. Eventually, yes. Something in the planning is going to have to be restructured to avoid It kind of feels like something out of your hands, like you're ready, but the situation isn't, type of thing. So yes, but maybe not within that, not within the next year. Silver Star, thank you. Is this new? These gem things? I've never seen them before. A need to nurture your spiritual side. It's giving like sit with it. Cutting out a little bit of extra time. Now I'm being drawn to this thing I read, and I don't know like the science behind it, but it was on Instagram this morning, and it said something about allowing yourself to look at yourself in the mirror for 10 minutes, and what starts to happen is the initial perception starts to dissolve. I'm seeing that for some reason, like maybe like a series of 2 or 3 times of this, and writing down how you feel after as a way for your higher self to hand you like a puzzle piece. How is Kevin keeping? He's down to 7.5 stone and has more cancer in his right lung. He's recently redeveloped his relationship with how he handles this information. It feels like there's a bit of it's been hit after hit, so there's a bit of disassociation, but it almost feels like, given the circumstance, it may be some bit of like a healthy level of disassociation. He's doing what he needs to do in terms of levels of disassociation so that he doesn't start to resist taking care of himself. The level of disassociation that he's allowing himself to have is so that he can keep doing what he needs on his end to care for himself in the way he's being instructed to. Message for August, my birthday month. Examine in which areas of your life you want a change and determine what options you have. It's almost giving like using this month to be a what is that called? Like an audit, like a life audit, a possibilities audit. Sometimes it's easier for us to make certain choices and changes when we can clearly see in front of us what our options are. It feels like a mind map that functions as a life audit will help you feel like you're actually rebirthing through the birthday. Message from Dad's higher self. The lack of communication is affecting him as well. He's just distracting himself away from it. It's not that he doesn't feel it. It's not that he doesn't notice it. It's not that he's forgotten. It's that he's purposefully saying, let me focus on something else because there's nothing I can do about this in his mind because of the situation. He's choosing distraction as a way to alleviate self-disappointment of how he's handled certain things. Message from Lewis Sr. You're about to get some kind of information that helps you see helps you hear what wasn't necessarily said, or see what wasn't being shown, or something that you perceived is about to be confirmed. You're about to get information that helps you wrap up an assumption, or like an intuition hit. Message and song for the week. Aluminum, all that really matters. Learning how to live when there's no one around. It's like learning how to feel when the drugs run out. You can see my scars because I'm wearing them proud. Even with my broken parts, I feel better now. You're giving yourself permission that you weren't giving yourself before, in terms of not needing to carry things into the future that needed to be left in the past. And this is bringing up certain emotions that are different to work through because you're not used to doing it that way. But the emotions aren't a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're going into uncharted territory where you're no longer needing to have convincing proof that it's time to put something down. You're trusting yourself to know. Do the neighbors and the family know where I've moved to? Feels like someone's aware of this, but it's not like a group discussion. Whoever this King of Swords is aware. But it doesn't feel like it's a group discussion type of thing. Message and token from my great grandma Bess. Chasing. Oh, I think this playlist is like a whole, every song is a cover. Anyway, Chasing Cars by Bailey Rushlow. And a bird. Chasing Airplanes. What's that song? Airplanes. I fly like paper, get high like planes. You're getting ready for takeoff in some way, like an idea, it feels. The idea that comes to you next, approach it as if you are saying, I'm this Queen of Pentacles and this is in my lap. I have time to sit here to examine it, figure out where to plant it. This feels like the past. In the past, you weren't seated in the chair and didn't have space for the pentacle. This time it's time for it to lead you to take off. I've been using my brick by brick every morning. Queen of Swords upright came up in the past 6 days. What is she trying to tell me? To shift the perspective that you have on how much a past wound is actually influencing the present. It's like almost like whatever card came out after the Queen in each of these, it's showing you the forward facing position, and whatever card came out before, it's showing you the past facing position. And you can kind of see through that, through looking at it in that way, that just because you are aware of how the past affected you doesn't mean that it's negatively impacting your perception now. It's almost like your brain is trying to convince you that you need to completely ignore the past way of viewing things in order to view something correctly now, but that's not the case. You're correctly intertwining how the past affected your ability to see things clearly now. I feel like the Queen look at what cards came before and after. All of the cards that came before, put them in a pile or on a list, and all the cards that came after, the same thing. And you're going to very clearly see a confirmation of how pain from the past is allowing you to see clearly and not necessarily clogging your perception. My internet is really going out every 2 seconds, isn't it? This is the new internet too. This is the third new internet. It's going great. It's going great. Will Trump or J.D. Vance be acting president a year from now? Trump? J.D. Vance? There's some kind of switch up. It doesn't feel like it's going to be Vance, though. A mascot is going to be the person in the mascot is going to be taking center stage. That's how I want to word that. Is my children's father capable of empathy and love, or am I just convenient? It feels like this person's capable of it. They just choose to let the part of them that fears it come forward first. It's almost like confirmation bias. Like when empathy or love comes and bubbles to the surface, this person looks for faults or flaws of you or anyone else so that they can try and convince themselves away from what wants to bubble to the surface, but they don't feel safe to engage with. Are you just convenient? To some degree, there's convenience there that's at play, yes. But it's almost like the convenience of knowing that when I push these things back down, you're not going to fight me too much on it. When I experience the empathy bubble and I push it back down, I can get away with it with you to that degree. Is Dolly Parton part of the elite club? And what did Dolly mean about being gifted Taylor Swift's firstborn child? Is she part of the elite club? Who close to her? There's some kind of confirmation of this by someone that passed suspiciously that was close to her. What about gifted Taylor Swift's first? It's giving the devil's play, like playing a role of saying things that need to be said to paint a certain narrative, playing their role. Gems, thank you. This too shall pass. And you said cheers. It's like this too shall pass. Cheers is like the acknowledgement of something done well. It feels like this too shall pass. You're going to be cheersing yourself about your ability to be patient in the storm. This too shall pass. Will I ever find the courage to reach out to my old friend D? Eventually. I don't necessarily think it's courage, though. I think it's almost like knowing that in order for something to be perceived the right way, you need to like explain it a certain way or carry a certain burden or whatever else. It's like the burden of trying to, it's not courage, it's like the burden of, I guess, like the work it's going to take to be seen correctly. I feel like eventually you'll get there, though, with Three of Wands. I already had the AT&T ordered when you guys said that last time. So I think I'm going to have to return AT&T because it's also not working. It says put it near a window. It's right near the window and it's not interneting. Yes, actually, let me write this down. Hold on one second. Let me write it on my hand. Giveaway ×2. I'm gonna do 2 winners. Okay. Hopefully I will remember that. What is the wound that's hindering Queen of Wands? Your brain continuing to give examples of when you were confident in something and it didn't work out the way you expected. Almost like your brain preemptively filling in what it expects to happen based off of past experiences without leaving the room for a new experience to unfold. Will my partner G help with responsibilities, or am I Or am I better off alone? Come on, internet. This is nuts. I think I'm just like, my house is cut out of the grid. I think that that's what it is. Anyway. I feel like this person will help if it gets to an extreme enough point, but I don't think that they view it as, basically it feels like if it starts affecting them more heavily. Or am I better off alone? I would say not necessarily better off alone, but I would not expect, I don't feel like this person has the capacity to show up for you in the way that you would show up for them if the roles were reversed. So keeping that in mind and relying on yourself, but being obviously appreciative with the help that they do give, because I feel like they'll give some, but they're not able to hold the capacity that you would if the roles were reversed. Any guidance for my husband from his dad? What's that song? I walk a lonely road. Boulevard of Broken Dreams. That song feels significant. Boulevard of Broken Dreams. You are the reason. Boulevard of Broken Dreams. You are the reason. It feels like there's something that was a match for the previous version of your husband that he's outgrown. So there's some kind of scenery changing, but it's not a punishment. It's because he's outgrown a previous restriction. And it feels like he's in the discomfort of the pivot. Like, you were so sure you're going in this direction. Now you're like, oh, the unknown. But once you lock in at the new road that you're going to, like a roundabout, it'll start to make sense. It feels like this is acknowledgement from his dad that he's outgrown something that used to be like a comfort blanket. And it's okay to the blanket being removed isn't a punishment, it's freedom. Right, let me make sure I got all these. Message for the week, gems. Sean, Eagle. Dark Shadow. Come back to life. Remember. Message from Dad's higher self. Message song. Grammar. Brick. Okay. Right on, make where I can only get Spectrum. We even tried to get Starlink here. Yeah, Starlink did not work for me either. I still have to return it. I have to get a box that it can fit back in. All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off. I don't know if I'm gonna be back for another one this week. I'll probably be back next week because this week is Gavin's birthday. And he alerted me last week that he's having a whole party this week. So I need to focus on that. I'm going to try and get some true crime up. I'll get this up today, the giveaway. I think that's all. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Talk to you soon.